Alrighty, what is going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to the channel for another market update. Hope everybody had a lovely day. And with that being said, let's dive into the TA. All right, guys, so we got that pullback we talked about. We didn't know exactly how it was going to shape up. We didn't know if it was going to, pump and then dump right after FOMC. We really had absolutely no idea, but we did definitely, we gave our warning there and said that de-risking into the FOMC event is probably the best idea, the best route to go here. And then we wait and see where we're going to be going. But we did have conditions that in the past, all right, typically have led to us getting, decent size, 5 to 10 point pullbacks at least. Whether it was going to happen here, slightly higher prices, regardless, it was going to be a thing where eventually we were going to revert back to the mean. And that's what we got today, guys. We did pull back. We tested the 9 EMA. We talked about it ahead of time. We said when it happens, you're probably going to get, a bunch of people coming out the woods there saying that, oh, larger corrections happen. Oh, I told you so. Oh, my God, there you go. But in reality, bears are going to continue punching air because that's just how this market wants to move. I'm just going to say, I think we continue seeing new highs, but I think next week we probably are going to get a pullback there. All right. We did get, this could have been all she wrote. This is what I was looking for. Okay. Again, I didn't know exactly how it was going to shape up that pullback there, but I did figure that was going to be right around the corner, especially with, the puts that were being loaded there, as well as how VIX was shaping up this day right here that we pointed out. But that is that. And from here, guys, VIX doesn't really offer you much value until you can either break this high at 1675, or if you start taking, honestly, I'm just going to say this looks like it's going to take out the low until this thing takes out the high. Okay. So expect this thing to just drip down, VIX crush back down to the lows, unless we get over 1675. And at that point, we just might come and test that upper trend line, and we'll see if we get a larger VIX breakout. Okay. But I personally think, things are probably going to continue pushing a little bit higher into end of week or early next week. And I think we might get a reversal next week, and we might have a larger correction on our hands. We'll have to see about it. But I'll just say weekly RSIs, they're still not overbought. This rally very clearly can continue, and people who are trying to front run the sell that's going to happen, guess what? They're going to keep getting it wrong until it actually happens. And you don't know exactly when that's going to be. But I'm telling you, in the short term, we might see some higher prices there. We just might. But we did point this out over here, guys, the MAGS ETF. All right, we are kind of just floating up here. Okay, guess what? Oh, we pulled back to the 5 EMA. SPY QQQ, guys, we had, 5 days? We didn't test the 5 EMA. You hit it over here. We got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's what we pointed out in yesterday's video. 5 days you didn't test the 5 EMA. Typically, you will test the 5 EMA. You ride that sucker higher or lower. And yeah, the thing was not testing it. So at some point you get mean reversion. We got that. On the upside, 661.78 above there, we're talking 664 and then 665. On the downside, 659.11, 656.90, 654.55, which was today's low. If you take that out, okay, that was your support. I'm just going to mark out today's low. All right, but that was the support we were watching over there. If you take that out, the next spot is that 21 EMA. Under 654.30, we're talking 652.21, then 649.48. All right, but really it's just going to be the 21 EMA. Come over to QQQ. On the upside, we're talking 590.49, 591.75, 592.86. Above there, 595, 598, 600. Guys, I think we're going to find sellers around 600 personally. 600, 610. I think if we see those numbers, it's going to bring a larger correction. I personally think. But in the short term here, you guys can see what I'm seeing. It looks like we very easily can pop up to new highs here. And yeah, that's that. Okay. Hourly RSIs on our FOMC sell there, they did get oversold. Actually, we got it beforehand on QQ over here. All right. But that's what we're watching there on SPY and QQ. I'm just going to see DIA. Looks like it might continue trekking higher. IWM looking a bit rocky after today. You got a big pump followed by a bigger dump. All right. I'm just personally going to say my interpretation of what we got here. Jerome's comments here today, guys, they were shit. Pardon my French, but they couldn't have been worse. Everything was bad. There wasn't a good thing about it. Okay. Let's look at it this way. they're not focused on inflation, but they pretty much told us that yes, inflation's came down since 2022, but not as much as they had expected. It's happening slower than they were expecting. That doesn't sound good. Okay. And they also tried, it reminded me of transitory Powell over there, him starting to say that prices are going to see this one price jump and they're not going to come down. It sounded to me like he's trying to ease people's worries there of rising inflation. So that's good. But at the same time, what the heck are you talking about, Powell? Okay, inflation isn't just going to go away. Prices are not going to come back down. He pretty much just telling everybody that. You know, like that's another not so good thing. He's saying you're going to go through this one thing and then we're going to try and level off inflation, and then prices, they're not going to keep going up, but they're not going to come down. He pretty much told everybody, hey, prices aren't coming back down. All right. And I'm telling you for a fact, prices can come down, but you go through a deflationary environment and yeah, the economy is not going to be feeling so hot if that's the case. All right. So we're talking too bad so far. Okay. What are we talking now? Okay. Well, he's pretty much telling us why the job market's so bad. Okay. Because we have less demand for... Overall, we have less supply. We have less supply going on, and it's just a double whammy going on in the jobs market anyway. He talked about his, his double-sided, whatever they call it. I'm having a brain fart at the moment, but they have to deal with inflation. They also have to deal with the jobs market. They have to keep both things healthy right now. And he pretty much talked about what I've talked about over, into the last FOMC meeting, why I didn't think they were going to do anything. Because they're in between a rock and a hard place right now. They are. Okay. You cut rates, they risk inflation coming back. Okay. But they need that to help out the rest of what they have to. Oh, the dual mandate. They help out the other side of the dual mandate. I don't know why I had a brain fart early, but it just popped back into mind. Okay. And then it screws the other side of the dual mandate. And if they want to help the other side of the dual mandate, which is the jobs market, guess what? It screws the other side of the dual mandate. So he commented on that today. And it sounded awful. So I'm just telling you, if this market continues getting euphoric, which it looks like it is, I'm telling you, don't drink the juice. That's definitely not the saying, but don't drink the juice ain't worth the squeeze, I think, is the saying I was thinking of beforehand. Okay. So that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking if we see this continue pump over here into next week on the market, I do think it's going to be sold. I think what he said today was pretty shit. It was terrible. There was no good interpretation about it. And if you guys have a different opinion, let me know in the comments. Maybe I interpreted it wrong, but I'm telling you, I think every single aspect of what he decided to talk about today was bad. And that was that. He started walking it back during the questions into the end. That's why, markets started pumping again. But at the end of the day, no. I think eventually this is going to become a narrative in the market here. And if we keep seeing this euphoria here and we see VIX at new lows, I think it's only going to be a matter of time until everything does have a larger correction there. So I'm just letting you guys know. Make money on this move up. I'm going to point out some names that I think are going to have some sick moves into end of week here. They're looking hot. Okay, Tesla's one of them. Yes, we pointed out yesterday we thought it was going to be continuing. It actually did sweep the low today, but it's still looking like it wants to continue. And we did take out 425.70, so I do think we're heading up to 440 as soon as tomorrow, guys. That's Tesla over here, okay? But I'm going to point out some stocks here after we go over the Mag 7 stocks that I think are going to do well into end of week, and definitely some setups that you can keep on your radar to catch some nice moves on. Okay, I got one that I think is going to go a little sick nasty tomorrow. Already started going sick nasty today. All right, got a decent close on the day, and tomorrow I think we might get a 20-30% move on the name. We're going to talk about after this, okay? But Tesla, guys, above 425.70, we're talking 439.74. Above there, 450, and then 460. Amazon. All right, what's going on over here with Amazon, guys? What are all these yellow lines on the chart, huh? All right, well, from the move over here, what happened? You pulled back to the golden pocket. And then on that move, you retraced the move down and you sold in the golden pocket, the next one. And what happened once you sold off that, you found buyers in the next one, the golden pocket, okay? That's what's going on over here in Amazon. It's compressing. It's getting ready for a big move. This is golden pocket inception right here. And I'm telling you, a big move is right around the corner. I think it's going to be to the upside on this name over here. I just think it's being a little bit tricky ahead of time. But we did talk about it coming into the week, how we didn't think it was going to make it up to the highs this week. We thought we'd probably print a candlestick like that, and then we make it up to new highs by next week. Okay, so that's so far still shaping up to be the case. But I do want to point out, you got golden pocket inception, triple golden pocket test going on, which all that tells you is price action is getting tight. It's compressing. What comes after the compression is going to be expansion. If you now take out this high over here, 236.53, you get back above there, it's probably going to bring the breakout above 238.85, and then you go straight to 242.52. And then if you take out this low over here at 226.22, all right, you take out that support, guess what? Chances are you're coming all the way back down here to 220. Okay, so that's Amazon. Microsoft, still finding buyers over here. Off, well, not still, but you're still right around the 21 EMA. We pointed out in yesterday's video, you're pulling back into the short-term moving average over here. You found buyers off them. I'm still just going to say this name really doesn't offer you much, but above 511.97, we're talking 517.23, and then 522.82, and then 530 above there. NVIDIA, looking a bit heavy over here. Okay, looking a bit heavy. Okay, China's, I think it's banning the buying of NVIDIA chips again. I think it's a little fight they're having again. Okay, again. And yeah, this just might bring us back down to new lows. Damn right, we're going to be watching 37 on the daily RSI, and hopefully we take out this low and we test the 21 EMA on the weekly time frame right around 160. That is a big trade waiting to happen down there. If you can scoop it up down there, you're probably going to be rewarded. Keep it on your radar. Google over here, it's continuing to track higher, guys, above 253.23. You have 255 and then 260. On the downside, you have the 9 EMA right around 242.57. Under there, 236.58. Apple, guys, looks like it's getting ready for a break to the upside here. Might dance around here for a little bit longer, maybe into end of week or early next week. Dance around here, build out some more structure, and then take off. All right, could go something like this. All right, not sure, or you could just start taking off. I really don't know, but I do think this thing is about to start breaking up. I personally would say there's better names to trade right now. This is a whole hot mess over the past, 4 to 6 weeks here. I think there are cleaner moves to be had. Meta over here, I still have the same opinion. I don't think this thing is going to be breaking up to new highs, but I'm not going to say this looks all that bad. Typically, when we print a candlestick like this, we'll come down at the lower wick of it the next session, so I really don't think you're going to do all that much over here on Meta. But hey, all right, I could be wrong, and this thing could push back up the highs. I just think there are better names to trade right now, okay? All right, top watches for tomorrow, guys, for your outsized movers, okay? You. Tongue twister, okay? Energy fuels, above 1441. We're talking 15, 1550, and then 16. I think 16 plus over here. That's what I said in yesterday's video. I think it is on the way. All right, no, I said it in this video right over here, okay? But you hit it with the break and retest off 1334 yesterday, and now you hit it with the inside day today. So I do think the breakout's probably coming in the short term here. Keep it on your radar. QUBT. All right, guys, we have quantum stocks going pretty crazy here. INQ over here. RGTI, okay, QBTS, big breakout there on QBTS and RGTI today over here, and I do think QUBT is going to join the pack. Okay, so this is one that really hasn't moved all that much, and I'm just going to point out QS over here has a similar look where it really hasn't moved all that much, but it probably is going to start. I mean, it's either going to continue putting structure here and then break above 1068, or it's going to break up above 1068, and this weekly candle expands. I think the weekly candle probably expands. All right, so that's another one I'm watching over here. But QUBT, all right, I think it's probably going to have some continuation and get 1880 in the short term. Okay, but top watches, I talked about a 20 to 30% move tomorrow. Which name can have it? Yes, you guessed it. It's open. Okay, maybe you guessed it, maybe you didn't, but it's open. I think this thing's probably going to be pushing up tomorrow. I think it probably gets a gap up overnight, and we open 11 to 1150. Okay, that's currently 80 cents above current price. That would be a decent sized gap up there to start off the day. A nice 7 to 8% gap up. But I think it's probable. You have nice volume on the day. You did not break out today, but they did bring you right up here, and then they gave you a big old drop there, and they bought you right back up. I think this thing is getting ready for a big day right around the corner here. It's banging on the breakout door right there, 1097. You have high of day today of 1087. You're getting real close. We know there's supply sitting up there. That's why I think ideally we get the gap up. This thing likes its gaps. And yeah, I think $12 is imminent. I think above $11, $10.97, $12 comes right away. And I think shortly after we get $13.44. All right, congratulations. If you're going to be making big bucks over here in open, I personally am excited, and yeah, this is gonna be a big mover over here. Okay, guys, but yeah, 4-hour chart over here, watching 1097. All right. After that, we're talking Affirm, guys. Okay, Affirm over here, facing out there on the 4-hour. Likely going to begin this movement to end of week. Weekly chart looks ready to erupt. Okay, hit it with the break and retest going on over here above this high. This thing over 93.20 gets going. Okay, the daily chart is getting tight as well over here against the 21 EMA. Above 93.20, we're talking 100, and then 108.20. All right, all the way over there. Reddit, I've been talking about it for a while over here. Dips are going to be buying opportunities over here on Reddit. It's going to continue having this, this grind mode. Okay, that's just how it likes to trade, up or down. It grinds. Okay, so just because it rockets over there, just like this name over here, all right, just because it rockets does not mean eventually it's not going to pull back maybe next week into the mean and set up for another move. That's what it does every time. Okay, well, that's Reddit over here. It constantly goes back and forth, but the dips, if you're in a trend, that's the direction of the trend, and the dips, or wherever those pullbacks in that direction, they're going to be bought or sold. If you're in a downtrend, the bounces are going to be sold. But over here, we're clear as day, breaking out the new highs. We're in that uptrend, and dips are going to continue being bought. Even if you have a bunch of sideways action on the weekly, over here on the daily, you still have action into the moving averages to catch that reversion to the mean. Sound started popping back up today. I'm not sure if it's going to be moving and getting a breakout above 1553 tomorrow, or if it stays and builds out some consolidation for a few days here, some more structure before moving up. But above 1553, we're talking 1708, above there 1885. Really heating up over here on Sound. Now, I put this on your radar the other day. It pulled back, all right to the 9 EMA, found buyers there, and it looks like it wants to take out this 956.17 high. All right, Monday's high there. It looks like it wants to take that out tomorrow. Ideally, you get a pullback tomorrow intraday, and then you see it take out that high, and that creates this little lower wick here, and then you continue up to 966.60. Okay. Galaxy, I was talking about over here. We wanted the daily close above 30.84. We got that daily close yesterday, and now, guys, we push right up to 33.17. What do we talk about, guys? Above 33.17, we're talking $35 is next, and then 38 comes shortly after that. But this does look like it's ready to go. Okay, TEM, this one over here is a potential squeezer candidate for tomorrow for one of these big moves. Okay, and if it doesn't happen tomorrow, we're still watching it on Friday into end of week. All right, but I'm looking for one of these big moves to be underway. This thing looks like it wants to do it over here on the 4-hour. If you can get above 88.19. Next, you have 90 and then 91.45. Above 88.19, you likely move up to 91.45 pretty quick. And this is something that is probably going to have a 10 to 15% day once this thing gets going. All right, let's just say it happens tomorrow. Just getting up here is a 6% move. Do not expect that to be all she wrote. This thing is probably going 95 to 100 all in one day. There you go. That's TEM. CRWV. It's getting real tight over here. You got a 3-day range. It looks like it wants to, consolidate here and then break up on the 4-hour here. It looks real pretty. Above 125.67, this gets going. I think you immediately have a 10-point move. Okay, this is a 3-day range here of just about 10 points above 125.67, just about the high of the range. All right, 10-point move brings you up to 135, and then that next area is around 140. Okay, that's CRWV. All right, guys, NEO, we talked about it. It got the daily close above 683 yesterday. It's continuing to go. I think 771 is coming in the short term. Not something I tell you to buy right now, but just a little update on what we talked about yesterday. IBM, I think it's getting ready for this big move. I think we might build out some structure here, but dips are buying opportunities in this range here. Okay, and I do think more likely than not, this week we're going to take out 260.66, and we're going to push up to 265 and maybe 270 right away. I think this thing is getting ready for a fall and reversal. And then once we start that process, I do think it's going to make it back up to these highs. Okay, all the way up there within only a few weeks. I know it sounds crazy, but I think it can happen over here. And it's definitely a name to put on your radar. All right. SOFI. Tomorrow, guys, all-time highs, 28.26, probably incoming. You've tested 26.61 and held it 2 days in a row here, right around the 9 EMA. I think it's only a matter of time until this thing does pop up to 28.26. And I think it's likely going to do it by end of week. I think we might get 30 plus on this name by end of week. Okay. All right, guys, that's what I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. All right. If you want to come trade with me, that link is down below. I trade all these tickers that we talk about. Well, not all of these, but you know, these are, I trade these names that we talk about in these videos. If you like these ideas, you come trade them with me. That link is down below. I'm live every day. But other than that, guys, if you enjoyed today's video, which I very much so hope you enjoyed today's video, please remember to leave a like. All right. I very much so appreciate it. It's all that I ask. And why do I ask? It's because that is the only thing that helps me get these videos out to more people so we can grow a little channel over here. We have very slow growth here on this channel. Okay. You know, I don't know why compared to other channels, but I'm going to be completely honest. It's fine. It's fine. I enjoy what we do here, and I hope you guys enjoy the process as well. All right. With that being said, guys, everybody have a lovely rest of their day, and I will catch y'all tomorrow. Peace.